Welcome to Redvee TV, supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2020 season, as we look ahead to this weekend's Round 10 Betfred Super League clash against Hull KR, to be played on Sunday at the Halliwell Jones Stadium. Good evening, Kevin.
Good evening, David.
Nice to get back to rugby after a weekend off. Enjoy yourself?
I did, yeah. Went away, but missed the rugby. Looking forward to a game on Sunday, yeah.
Am I tempting fate if I suggested that this is a run-of-the-mill, give us the 2 points now, Saints by whatever score we fancy?
Yes.
Okay, then I have done.
Of course you are. Listen, if we hit the standards that we have since lockdown, then you're right to be confident of a win. But we're missing two big players from our back line. One of which doesn't half give us some great meters going forward. So it may well be a little bit tougher and a little bit closer than you might anticipate, or at least for the first 60 minutes. It depends on fitness after that, once our big lads start coming back on and start hopefully punching holes in defences.
Now, obviously, Tommy Makinson is going to be a massive miss. It could have been a lot worse, though, couldn't it? He was obviously up for 8 games originally on that grade F charge. He went to the disciplinary. He was supported by Mike Rush and Christian Wolf, who managed to argue the grading of the ban down, and it's got it down to 5 games, which, given the circumstances, has to be seen maybe as a bit of a win for us.
Yeah, it was a surprise that it got downgraded, and I'm not sure 5 games was a surprise. I know they said it starts at 8, but he's got a good record, and I think he put in his guilty plea early and showed remorse, which, I mean, yeah, he's committed the offence, but that shows the measure of the man. That I think he apologised to Liam Watts actually on the day on the pitch. And that's a good sign. I remember back to Mark Percival getting banned for kicking a ball and it hitting one of the officials. And one of the things that was cited was he didn't show immediate remorse. So that's obviously stood him in good stead.
He didn't mean it.
Yeah, but still, like 5 games. Listen, he's missing some big ones. You look towards the end of September and it's the Wigan game. But as you say, it could have been a whole lot worse.
Yeah, I know. I was reading the disciplinary report on the RFL website, and Christian Wolf was talking. I think it was like that the coach to basically try and make space in the tackle, and obviously inappropriate choice of wording, but he's obviously put his hand out and tried to leverage, and it's been a couple of seconds. He hasn't realised straight away what he's got hold of, and then he has, and then I don't think you could argue. I think you have to go with the guilty plea because the evidence was there on camera. But luckily, obviously, Christian Wolf supported. Mike Rush I think we had video evidence from when the Bradford player did it last year. I think we used that to say like that was deliberate, this wasn't, and that's what we've tried to argue down on. And it succeeded. So yeah, 5 games. He does miss a couple of big ones, but he also misses Hull KR, which you'd like to think you'd be able to win without him.
I think he misses Hull KR twice, doesn't he?
Yeah, Hull KR, Huddersfield, Hull KR, Warrington in the Cup, and then the final game would be Wigan.
Yeah.
But then again, this could change if COVID strikes someone.
Well, yeah, it could well do, as we've seen. Yeah, it could have been a lot worse, but now it gives someone an opportunity. And I don't think anybody's expecting someone to come in and make the meters or the carries that Tommy Makinson does. It might be shared out a little bit more, but it gives someone an opportunity to kind of put the hand up and say, listen, I am able to step in when we start rotating or we start picking up more injuries. And hopefully one of the lads who's been drafted into the 21-man squad can do that.
Yeah, and there is the 21-man squad on the screen. I can just say I've still got a lot of love for that blue away kit.
It is a nice shirt, actually. It is a very nice shirt.
We haven't worn it much, have we? But yeah,
well,
we're winning it this weekend.
We won't mention the Castleford game that we did wear it in and got absolutely turned at their place just before lockdown. So,
what Castleford game before lockdown?
Exactly.
Obviously, that 21-man squad, Josh Sim comes into it, Jack Wellesby, Matt Costello. Don Peyrou's back in at the expense of Joe Batchelor, who's back doing the onside programme, which the foundation run. I think that was online this week, actually.
It was on Facebook.
But yeah, for me, from what I've heard being spoken about by obviously Kevin Nagama in his interviews, Christian Wolff in his interviews, it sounds to me as if Jack Wellesby is going to get the nod to play out on the wing. And then Matty Costello should come in to replace Percival in the centres, you'd assume, given that he deputised pretty well previously for him.
Yeah, I think it's telling when they start naming people in order. So, as you say, Christian Wolff first of all went for Jack Wellesby's name, then said Matty Costello, then went for Josh Sim. I know a lot of people will be pushing for Josh Sim. It's easy for me to say to start, as he is a recognised centre. But he will get his chance. It may well be that this is the game that they turn around and say, actually, yeah, we are going to throw him in. But as you say, a lot of what's been said, it does sound like Wellesby and Costello are going to be kind of given the first crack of the whip there.
Yeah, I think Christian Wolff has said Josh Sim will get his chance in the coming weeks. He just didn't know whether it would be this weekend or not. Lewis Dodd still in and around the squad, but Christian Wolff again saying that he doesn't want to really swap his 1-6-7-9 combination when they're playing well. But Lewis Dodd is there should anybody have any sort of knock. And it's all good experience for him being around the first team as well.
It is. I think they said he's 18th man a lot. So he's the one who they're going to, if they get an injury somewhere, he's the one who will slot in. And Christian Wolff said, again, he'll get his chance and he's ready. But I know people itch to see the young lads coming through. We all want to see kind of homegrown players coming through and taking the chance. But you can't, after we've come back from lockdown and started playing so well, you can't change that spine, can you? You start changing that and all of a sudden you kind of giving teams maybe that little incentive rather than turning around and going, the first choice are out today and they're on a roll. You might just, well, why are they resting Johnny Lomax this week? Why are they doing that? And listen, we might have to further down the line. But at the minute, while the games are a little bit more spread out, I think it does make sense to kind of run with as strong as you can.
Joseph Paolo, not in that 21-man squad either. He seems to be really out of favour at this moment in time. Is it a little bit ominous for his future at the club moving forward, potentially, if he can't be making that 21-man squad, even when we've got injuries?
Possibly. Is he not still struggling himself? I don't know. If he's still struggling with an injury, it would be interesting to see, and that might be the start of kind of the rotation. I still expect to see Paolo kind of involved with this team. He is an experienced player, and I think towards kind of once the games start getting bunched up, we'll see the rotation, and he'll get game time, and he'll get his chance to kind of show us what he can do.
There's a bit of grey on Kyle Amore's head there. No wonder he dyed it blonde.
I'll let you tell him. I think he's got a fine head of hair there. I can't really knock anybody for that.
I much prefer his M&M look. Anyway. Hull KR squad, they couldn't be bothered producing a graphic.
Fair
Somebody's just typed it out. And I hate it when they do this A to Z way of announcing the squad.
Oh, same.
Ben Crooks, their top try scorer, is missing this weekend. He's torn his calf in training.
Yeah.
So he's going to miss out. But yeah, there's a few names in that squad. There's Adam Quinlan on his day, Matt Parcell, Sean Kenny Dowell. They've got good players, haven't they? It's just not enough for them, maybe. It's
a free hit for them, though. They're not expected to turn Saints over. They might be within the squad, and some of their fans might be expecting it or hoping for it. But it's a free hit. they've got nothing to lose. They can come out, throw it about, and especially because there's no relegation this year, does it really matter if they lose? Possibly not. But yeah, to be honest, I'd expect them to start battling and try and keep with us inside the first, almost like Huddersfield did inside the first half. Just try and keep with us, and then try and edge something a bit later on. I just hope our fitness and power, like it has done in the past couple of games, especially the Castleford one, kind of came through on the hour mark. You could just tell that we were fitter, we were a bit stronger, and possibly a little bit more savvy in what we're doing. Because, as I say, when Lachlan Coote started putting points on the board, especially the second lot, I was thinking, why are we not running these? Why are we not tiring them out? But I suppose it's build that scoreboard pressure that they've got to score to try and convert it when we're 4-0 up. And it gives us a little bit more of a cushion. I know they had Danny Richardson who can kick goals for fun, but it does still put that little bit of pressure on you. So I kind of hope that, especially when we come to the last 20 minutes, we're a couple of scores ahead and we can really put the foot down.
Okay then, Kev. Predictions for Sunday then?
I'm still going to go, even though I'm saying it's going to be a tighter game, I'll still go Saints by 24.
I'm going to go for a Super League record-breaking nilling for the third successive game. And I'm going to go Saints by 46.
That is a confident prediction.
Do you know when things can go spectacularly wrong?
So you started this by jinxing us, and we've nearly finished this and you're jinxing us.
46-0. It's confidence, Kevin.
No, that's fair enough.
Based on form.
Yeah, that's no, and the weather. It's meant to be nice on Sunday as well, so
it'll make a change, won't it? Okay, then moving on. Just a couple of other bits to talk about this week. Luke Thompson in Australia is apparently suffering a little bit of homesickness. He's been unable to fly his family out, his girlfriend, because of the lockdown rules. So he's currently on his own over there. A bit of a nothing story. Form's temporary, classes permanent. I think he'll come good over there. It's just getting through this little bit of a difficult time. And listen, if it didn't work out at Canterbury, I'm sure Justin Oldbrook had won him at Gold Coast. But yeah, we'd welcome him back if he ever did want to come back. But I just think it's a nothing story for us to be concerned about.
Yeah, I think, as you say, he's living almost in isolation, isn't he? Without his missus, without any of his family being able to go over there. Once they go over it, it'll be different. And he can almost, like, I don't know what the lockdown rules are over there, but from what I read, it's not as free as he'd probably like to be. He'll be fine over there. He'll be fine. And I've seen some people saying they wouldn't want him back. I've seen others saying they would have him back. Listen, if it's right for Saints, you have him back. If he's right for everything about Saints, and that goes from finances, it goes dressing room, it goes what we need on the pitch, you'd have him back.
Of course you would. Anybody who says they wouldn't have a player back, yeah, they're just lying. You wouldn't want to be lining up against Luke Thompson. You'd want him in your ranks. I'm sure we'd face competition if he wanted to come back. But
it's got to be right though, Dave. It has got to be right for the club. But if it's right for the club, of course you would have him back.
Yeah, undoubtedly. COVID strikes again. This time it's Catalan. They've got a number of players who've got the virus, so their game's off this weekend, and I think the Leeds game is off the week after. Do you know what? It's going to happen. We've said it before, and we'll be saying it again and again. Especially now that the R rate's going up, you're seeing professional footballers. I think Paul Pogba's the latest to have it. It's just going to happen, and unfortunately, it doesn't distinguish between you're a rugby player or you're a member of the public. It's the way it is, and I think that's just life for the foreseeable, isn't it? You can try your best to contain it as much as you can, but you at times, especially if you're testing everybody all the time, so even if they're asymptomatic, you're going to come back with positive results now and again.
Yeah. that's it. I've seen people again on social media saying how much of a I don't want to use the first phrase, how much of a horror show it is. But that's it. You've got to. It's going to happen. People are going to get it. Yeah, the R rate is going up, and we're testing everybody. So once you start testing everybody, you're going to get positives back. Hopefully, that number will just keep dropping and dropping and dropping. But you're right. It's good that the RFL Super League are turning around and saying whoever is on a bye week has got to be ready and have got to be training like an 18th man, like we mentioned Lewis Dobb before, got to be ready to slot in at the drop of a hat. I think that's good. Listen, I know that games are going to back up. Catalan were one of them teams who had quite a few games still to play. And you've just got to try and trust in the authorities, and I know people will start laughing at that, but you've got to trust in the authorities that they'll be able to fit these games in by kind of bringing Cass forward to play Wigan this week, by just mixing it up and getting games on as and when they can. You've just got to trust them. And
to be fair, I think the RFL and Super League have done a really good job on this one. Maybe not so when they're just giving sponsorship out for pizza, but yeah, for me, it is how it is. And people talk about, the players need to be better contained in bubbles. They need to be looking out a little bit more. But these players, they're going home to the families. The families will have to go to the supermarket to get food. They've got children who will be soon going back to school. Unless they isolate themselves from everybody that they're associated with,
Who's paying for these bubbles? Who's paying for this isolation? Who's paying for this? Unfortunately, this game is not a wash with money like football is. This is a lower ranking game. As much as we all love it, the money isn't there to kind of put all the different things in place. I mean, you have a look, the Women's Super League and Challenge Cup has now been called off for the season. They can play friendlies, but there's going to be no competition there. We've seen that our league is curtailed and they're trying to concertina it right up at the end. So we hopefully have fans in and they're hoping that obviously the R rate's gone down by then, so they've got less issues. Listen, it's life at the moment. And
the only solution, Kev, is a vaccine, and it's always people. I've seen some people online saying, "Oh, should we cancel the season?" Well, what happens if it's still here in 2021? If there's no vaccine by then, you've just got to adapt and be as adaptable as possible, and hopefully cope with it. Lastly, I think we should mention the 82% of season membership holders at the club who to date have decided to donate their membership fees for the season to the club. I think that's absolutely tremendous. And I know we talked about it previously and how important that was. And do you know what? It doesn't make you any more of a fan than the next person. But we understand that there is plenty of fans who will have needed that money financially because of the circumstances of the last few months. And that is perfectly fine that they've been able to do so. But it's tremendous that the fans who have been in a financial position to donate have done so, and they've helped secure the future of the club for everyone.
Yeah, when it was first mooted, I said I was quite comfortable with not having some kind of reward for doing it. I didn't want it to be a them and us type thing, because I think that's wrong. People can support the clubs in different ways. People might be a member, people might not be. People might be able to afford tickets every week or just walk up. People might be able to afford replica shirts or whatever. You're not a bigger fan than someone just because you buy replica shirts every season, you buy home and away. You're not a bigger fan than someone if you can afford to give your money over. You do what's right in your situation. I mean, I've not actually got back to the club yet with regards to mine. I know what I am going to be doing with my membership money, but that should not reflect on me any differently to someone else out there. It shouldn't reflect at all. We're all the same when it comes to being a fan. It's great that so many people are in a position to give the money over to the club. Or if they go for credit, great. If you need your money back, there should be absolutely no doubt that you shouldn't feel any bit of, I don't know, guilt, remorse that you have to do it. You have to do what's right by you at the moment. And listen, I don't want it to ever become a them and us situation.
And you know what? It's an entirely personal decision as well. You've got no need to tell anybody that you've took your money back or that you've left it in the club. It's whatever people are comfortable doing. It's good that 82% have been able to.
Yeah.
Because it helps us out tremendously moving forward and means that we're not relying on our shareholders and directors just to keep pumping their own cash into basically a financial black hole, because that's what sport is essentially. We've done well to make ourselves self-sustainable over the last few years, and it's really good to see that the fans have backed us. I've seen one or two people saying, well, it's wrong that the club should have had to ask people to donate money. Well, where was the money coming from? At the end of the day, it's a pandemic that has caused financial problems for half the world. There's so many job losses out there that currently. But the club, who've done so well to get the stadium, to make themselves self-sufficient with both what they achieve on the field and the fans and the tickets and the merchandise and everything else, but also building a successful conference business off it. And it's all gone all of a sudden. So it's tough times. We're not football. We rely on spectators, don't we? And it's just an uncomfortable situation at the moment. Let's just hope we can get through it as soon as possible.
I'd just go back to that with when I say the sport's not awash with money. So people who think it's unfair that the club's had to ask, the club has to ask to make sure the club can go on. If they don't ask and they just give you your money back, our backers, our board, whoever's put money in, might just turn around and go, you know what, we could sell that land as real estate. We don't need a big league club. People can go and watch other sports. It doesn't matter. Take it out. Then there's no sin tellings.
Yeah. And you know what? Fans of all over the years called for honesty from the club. They want to know what's going on. They want to know the situation. The club have come out there, laid it on the table, told it how it is, and it seems to upset some people, and I don't get that personally. But again, people seem to take things personally when it was never ever aimed like that.
No, that's fair enough.
I think that is us done, Kevin.
Good.
Instant fan reaction on Sunday, straight after the game. Get involved on our Twitter and Facebook with your fan reactions, and we'll try and feature some of them. 46-0, Kevin. Mark it down.
I'll make a note here. Just write that down there. 46-0.
Let's make a deal here. If it's 46-0 on Sunday, you will play or attempt to play that guitar on the instant fan reaction.
Okay. I'll play something, yeah.
Okay. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and we will catch you soon for the next episode of Redvee TV.